Hi everyone, welcome to the developer user group. It's our second one, so we are really excited to be here with you today. So I hope you can hear me well. If not, you cannot hear me, so you cannot hear the instruction, but let's put that up for the folks that didn't connect to the audio yet. So who are we? Who are the Tableau developer evangelists? You all know Kisha. Hi. And I'm Geraldine. Everyone is calling me Gigi. And we are your hosts today for this developer user group. We are really excited to be here with you. And if you have any questions, you can also reach out to us in the future. But if you have any questions during this user group, you can ask any question you might have in the Q&A box that you can see on the screen. Kisha or myself or the other presenter can reply to some of your questions live. So what are we going to talk about today? We are really excited next month to be at the Tableau Conference Europe. This year, we are all going to Berlin. It's the first time that we are hosting it, not in London, but in Germany. We have more than 2,000 people attending these events. And I know you are all already really excited for the Data Night Out, but what can you learn, what can you do if you are a dev and you are coming at the Tableau Conference Europe? So let's get started, and let's talk a little bit more about the dev track. What is going on for the data dev at TCE? A lot of new and exciting sessions. We are going to get started with Embedding Tableau, a deep dive into the JavaScript API with Alex and Dino. Then we'll see how to embed Tableau in 60 minutes only with Charlotte and Ruben. Then we'll see how you can get started and build your first extension with Martha. Then, not least, but my sessions on popular use cases with our top APIs. Then, Tim and Timo will talk about embedding Tableau, the why, the when, and the how. Then, I think this guy doesn't need an introduction in the dev world, but Merlin is going to talk about Tableau exjunctions. I'm not sure how I pronounce right, but I'm sure Merlin is going to correct me later. The what, the why, and how of extensions for Tableau. Then we have a Q&A session where people can answer some of your questions. So let's get started. We have Alex Eskenazi from the London office talking about the embedding Tableau. So I'm going to give the rights to Alex to present the slide. Alex, you have control on my screen. Let's get started.
Yeah, if Alex cannot, maybe he's not muted. Hi, my name is Veno. I am one of the sales consultants that's going to be working also on this. So thank you very much for this opportunity to actually go a little bit more details what's going to be in our session. But in general, what we're going to be doing is we are trying to we're going to have like a two-hour session, so it's quite a lot of time. So we were like thinking how it's the best way to use these 2 hours. And what we're going to do, we're going to actually do a little bit more deeper look into the embedded capabilities of Tableau. And actually, this is from our current experience that we can actually see that what was happening with our partners and customers and what they will be actually expecting to see there. We can now go on the second slide, Alex, which is so what we can actually what we want to have from this session. I think that Alex is muted. He cannot talk, so I'm just going to continue also here. So what we actually want to do from this session is that we want to grasp all the components that are needed to build a solution. So we are not going to just be focusing on JavaScript API. We're going to actually build the whole portal. Of course, we're going to be not using, we are not going to be doing anything too complex, but we're going to be building a small portal that will be working on Flask technology, which is we're going to use Python, and we are going to touch all the other things that you might want to need when building a portal, like also REST APIs, and hopefully we're going to also touch on some level of row-level security that we can all bundle in a nice working actually example of a fully fledged and working example of Tableau embedded solution. And of course, at the end of the day, also, we want to hear from you. What are your current experiences with embedding Tableau? Do you have any, of course, we're going to be there. We're going to listen to you. If you have any questions, we can maybe go a little bit deeper into some of the topics. And of course, by the end of the day, also, we want to have fun. So it's going to be, interesting also to have a really good time and learn from each other. We can now, yeah, Alex, please, next slide. As Alex cannot speak, I can actually speak for him and say everything that you want to know, but he is on the right. He's enjoying his life, surfing, obviously, doing some windsurfing, while I'm trying to bribe Mr. Bugsy from Las Vegas to actually let me in, have some fun. I don't know how that was working out for him, but it was really nice to spend some time there. But as you can see, okay, good, we survived that. As you can see, we are having a really good time while in Tableau, and I really hope that you're going to also enjoy having this hands-on with us. Next slide, if we can have. Okay, great. Now, who are we expecting? So, honestly, while this is advanced development course, advanced development hands-on, what we would like to have, from developers all the way to product managers and product owners, because it is not just about embedding Tableau in this case, but it's also going to be the full life cycle that you can expect, what you need to do to embed Tableau. So one of the things that we're going to do, of course, is I'm going to actually start from the back. We're going to actually build our own test web server. We're going to do this in Flask. If you have used Flask, you know how easy it is to start the web server there, just with a couple lines of code. And if you didn't, don't worry, trust me, it's quite simple to do it. Then when we're going to have a working version of our web server, what we're going to do, we're going to actually then start using single sign-on capabilities of Tableau, where we're going to log into our portal, and then we're going to, with trusted ticketing, we're going to actually connect to Tableau and be able to get the information, get the visualizations that you are allowed to see. Of course, during that time, we will also embed Tableau inside HTML. We're going to do some of the operations on it. We're going to do like filtering. We're going to actually do some exporting the data. We're going to be selecting some marks. We're going to do some exporting to PDF. We're going to actually dive into what is needed to make your embedded Tableau visualizations come to life together with HTML in the background. Now, also what we want to do, we want to also actually use REST APIs for some of the simple things like retrieving workbooks and views on the workbooks. So when you log in as a user and when you actually want to see what you can actually access via your portal, we're going to be able to dynamically build the workbooks and the views that you're going to be able to see. And last but not least, we would like to implement some simple version of row level security, which is quite important, especially in embedded scenarios where user security that you can actually have via server is really good, and you can actually do that in desktop. However, if you want to grow, then what's going to happen is you need to be able to manage that programmatically, and this is why we're going to touch on row level security. Just as the next slide, maybe just a small sneak peek into what are you going to be doing. So on the left side, you can see our super duper Tableau portal that you're going to be building. As you can see, you can log in into it. You're going to be able to see all the tickets moving back and forth. How does it work? We're going to, of course, build that. On the right, you can see just a small part of the HTML, and you can actually if you can actually just click one more time, it's going to be one more. If you can have one more example of the code. Okay, this is how we're going to be embedding. So we're going to be using Atom in this case, but doesn't matter which kind of web editor we're going to be using. At the end of the day, it all comes the same. And for the end, thank you very much. I really hope that we have sparked interest into this session for you. And as for the last slide, we hope that you're going to feel like in Top Gun school, and at the end of the day, you're going to be the one who's going to win the trophy. Thanks a lot. And Gigi, I think this is
Veno, hi everyone. This is Alex.
Oh, Alex.
So, I managed to connect now. We had some technical challenges, but the great thing is I learned how to click and flick through slides right on time. So I think we'll be right on time on our session as well, I hope.
Yeah.
And looking forward to meet everyone in Germany. And thanks a lot, Veno, for this presentation. Handing over this back to Gigi.
Thank you, Vino and Alex, for your presentation. We also learned a lot with your slide. So now we are going to hear about how to embed Tableau, not in 2 hours, not in 3 hours, but in 60 minutes with Charlotte. So I will pass over to Charlotte.
Hello everyone. Yeah, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
Perfect.
So hi everyone. So we are very happy to be meeting you all in Berlin. And so this session is about how to embed Tableau, so in 60 minutes. So this session is more aimed at people who haven't embedded Tableau yet, but have an interest in it and want to learn how to do it. So I'm presenting with Ruben. So let me see if I can. Okay. Okay. So I'm Charlotte Maillet. I'm a product consultant. So I'm based in Paris. You can maybe hear my French accent. I've been at Tableau for one and a half years now. And Ruben, can you hear?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. You can introduce yourself. Yeah.
So my name is Ruben. I actually work from the Netherlands, and I'm actually working for Tableau only for 7 months, but I have been working as a BI consultant for the 5 years before that. So I've been using Tableau for a little while now. So why should you attend this session? If you just heard Vino and you thought like, that is really complex and trusted ticketing and all this other stuff, is it really that difficult? Well, you might want to actually attend our session because we're going to show you a little bit of the start. So there are some complex ways and some really fancy ways of doing things, but to get started actually to building your first portal is actually really easy. And that's actually what we're going to show you. So what we're going to show you is a little bit about why you want to potentially do that. So if you're interested in sort of white labeling your Tableau experience, if you want to sort of have your own portal, or maybe you even have a requirement for additional functionality. If maybe you want to have other stuff, or maybe you just want to do something else with Tableau, and you think like, I can't do that inside Tableau, maybe I can do it outside of Tableau. Well, we're going to show you a little bit of the ropes and the starts of that. So, and Charlotte's going to tell you what you can do at the end of the session.
Yes. So basically, at the end of the session, you will have an understanding of what are the options that are available for you to embed Tableau. And so for this, we're going to go through the different options that you have. We're going to go from a simple copy-paste of the embed code to something more advanced using the JavaScript API. You will also feel comfortable embedding your own Tableau viz into a web page because, of course, this is a hands-on session. So you're going to embed a Tableau viz in very simple steps, and it will be easy for you to apply the steps that you have learned to embed your own vises when you go back to your office or back home. And also, you will know, and this is very important, you will know where to find the resources to continue your own development. So we're really going to emphasize this during this session towards guiding you where to find those resources. And so when you be back home, you can go further in your development and start your own project after this. So we really look forward to have you during this session in Berlin. And that's it for us.
Perfect. Thank you, Charlotte and Ruben. So the next presenter is Marta, and she's going to walk through the Build Your First Tableau extension.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. So hi everyone. Really pleased to be presenting here today at the Developer User Group. My name is Marta, and I'm an associate product consultant located in London, working for the UK and Ireland market. And I've been at Tableau for about 1.5 years, and there's so many cool things to really get excited about. And one of the coolest ones is obviously the extension API, which is why I'm doing the session with Gigi. So when it first came out, I was really intrigued, and it became my favorite API because it's really, really cool. Ever since it's been released, our community has built so many incredible things with it, so I'm really excited to be leading this session. And so in this session, you will learn about what is a dashboard extension and what do you need to make it work. There's different components. You'll learn all about that. You will know how to use a dashboard extension and when to use it as well. As I mentioned, there's so many different possibilities with the extension API. You need some guidance as to when to actually use it. You will build an extension from scratch. So we will be working on an extension, a date range filter extension. You will learn how to build it from scratch. You'll learn all about publishing it to your Tableau server or Tableau online environment so that other users can use the dashboard with the extension in it. And you will also find the right documentation to get started. So where are the resources to help you build that extension? But maybe most importantly, you will learn who is this T-Rex guy that we keep bringing up in every slide, if you notice in the beginning. So, important question. This is a really amazing extension API. You'll learn a lot during the session, but obviously, there are some, you might be wondering, is this session for you? And the simple answer is, of course it is, because extension API is amazing, and I don't know why anyone else would not want to learn more about it. But on a more serious note, if you have an interest in expanding the functionality of Tableau, then this is the right session for you. Maybe you have dashboards already in your company and your users have to leave the Tableau dashboard in order to complete an action in an outside application and then go back to the dashboard. So for instance, an order, purchase order on the inventory that you see it's low in stock on the Tableau dashboard. So this is a great session for you to attend if you want to learn more about how to bridge the gap between Tableau and another web application that your users might be using currently. The session is intermediate, so you should have basic knowledge of how Tableau works. We won't be teaching you how to build a visualization. We won't be teaching you how to connect your data in Tableau and how to make a dashboard. So you should have the basic skills of how Tableau works so that you know the basics, and then you just learn about the extension API and how it works. And last but not least, you should have some basic knowledge about web development, HTML, JavaScript. We won't be teaching you how to code. So you should have some basics of how it works. But we will provide code snippets for you to copy and paste as well. And my last question, so you have so many different amazing sessions to choose from, but if you want to give your dashboard superpowers, then this is the session for you. And I hope to see you there. Back to Gigi.
Perfect. Thank you, Martha. I'm really excited to co-present this session with you. So let's talk about API 360, popular use cases with our top APIs. So I'm Geraldine Zonnelly. Everyone is calling me Gigi. I'm an associate product manager in the developer evangelist. I just make sure that you guys, devs, have everything you need to get started and use our APIs. I like to tell my story by telling by country where I lived. So as you might guess, I have a very strong French accent. But guess what? I'm not actually from France. I am from this beautiful place called Mauritius. But I actually went to Paris to study computer science, is where I came my geek side and my coding skills. Then I joined Tableau and moved to London, where I worked with all these amazing presenters that you heard today. They used to be my colleagues as I was in the pre-sales team for almost 3 years, helping the Tableau adoption in EMEA. Then I moved to Seattle, sunny Seattle, at least today, and where I joined the project management team and the developer platform team. So before coming to my session, you will feel like that when you hear about developer platform. You are really confused with all the different APIs. I mean, I heard about webhooks at CC18, but what is it? What is it doing? Why should I use it? I have an API. I want to use it in Tableau, get my data in Tableau. I heard about the web data connector and also the extract API. What are the differences? When should I use one or the other? Or I want to know which field I use on my Tableau server before deleting them. What should I use? Which API can solve my problem, my challenge? Or extension API. I don't know what is it, but I see a T-Rex everywhere. What does that mean? Why do we have a T-Rex? Is it linked? Yeah, sometimes, especially when you get started with Tableau, you can see all our branch of APIs. And you don't know when to use which API, what are the use cases, and what they do. But at the end of my sessions, you will understand what APIs and tools and use cases for the developer platform. You will know when to use it, what to use it for. So you want when to use what, basically. But it's not only what is already available for you. We are also going to talk about what's coming up on the developer platform. I'm sure you will be surprised to the session. We hear about APIs that you didn't know and that are coming soon on the developer platform. But more importantly, you also find and understand where are our resources, how to get started if you want to learn more about our APIs. But I talked a lot about the developer platform, but what is it? What can you do with the developer platform? So you can automate and integrate Tableau integration with different tools if you are a server admin and you want to automate certain tasks, you want to use the REST API. Or if you want to integrate Tableau into existing flow, that's the automation integration. Martha mentioned extensibility, because extensibility is not only about extension, but it's also the JavaScript API that Martha, Charlotte, and talked about. And we're integrating external and third-party applications inside your Tableau dashboard with extension, or can integrate your dashboard directly into your application. But also embedding with JavaScript and the REST API that Dino talked about earlier. Then we have the data connectivity. When you want to connect to custom data sources, you can use the REST API, the Extract API, the Web Data Connector, and the S Connector SDK. You can also use Tableau for advanced analytics with our integration with R, Python, and MATLAB. Did you know all about these capabilities in Tableau using our API? Or is it something new for you? If it's something new, you should come to the session. How you will feel after the session? You will feel awesome. But you will learn so much about all our API and use cases. You will know what a webhook's for, when to use it. You will know that if you want to share the connector to your community, you need to use the Web Data Connector. You will know who is T-Rex, and his real name is not T-Rex, it's Flex. So yeah, you will learn a lot about T-Rex as well. You know what an extension API is, and you also learn about new APIs like the metadata API that is in beta right now, that allow you to query datasets published on Tableau server and the relationship between dashboard and the data sources. So you have a lot of knowledge in 1 hour. Is why, just to be sure that you will follow the session along, at the end of the session, you have some tests, Q&A, some challenges. And the winner, we have 6 winners at the end of the session, will bring back Flex. So you can see Flex on the left, and is ready to go to Europe and to Berlin to have some fun. So if you want to learn more about the developer platform and understand it, you should come to my session. And if you want to learn more about, if you want to bring Flex home, you should also come to the session and listen for 1 hour to me. That's it for me. I'm going to pass over to Timo and Tim. They are talking about turn data into products, the why, when, and how of embedding Tableau.
Thank you, Gigi. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. Thank you. So welcome, everyone. Also from my side, funnily, today I'm the only one who's actually really presenting out of this country where we'll host this year's Tableau conference. So really looking forward to it. So 2 days ago, I was sitting in a hotel in Nuremberg, and I was putting together some slides for today's session. And I realized after a couple of minutes that my mouse still wouldn't work, even if I changed batteries during the weekend. So I opened up an app, and I was searching for a new mouse. And on Amazon, I found one for 31 euros. And I was like, that's perfect. But if you look at the lower right, you can see that I got offered 3 of them for a price of 117 euros. And I mean, you immediately realize that this isn't like a perfect offer, right? So that's what I thought is a perfect example of why you should put analytics as part of your own applications. With that said, my name is Timo Tautmann. I'm a solution consultant based out of a city close to Frankfurt. I'm with Tableau since a little bit more than 5 years, which allowed me to already visit 12 Tableau conferences since 2014. And one of them happened, and I don't know if Ruben, who's from the Netherlands, you've already met him, knows that, was in the Netherlands, so in The Hague back in 2015. Back in 2014, when I joined, I also started with a blog called TableauFriends.com, where I'm writing a lot of stuff around tutorials, ideas, but also hacks within Tableau. And yeah, a lot of content you can download there as well. It started to be a German blog, but while I was starting with that and talking about that at many Tableau conferences, it turned out that people asked me to translate stuff into English, and now it's simply English, and everybody of you can read that. So with that said, I hand it over to Tim, who will co-present with me.
Hello, and hopefully we've managed to solve the microphone problems in the London office and you can all hear me. So this is going to be my first Tableau conference, which I am super excited about, let me tell you that. So I've been with Tableau about 7 months now. However, I have been in the BI industry for a good 7 years. And I'm currently working with OEM and embedded solutions exclusively, and that's been where my background is as well. So I've come from a software developer background, I've come from a database administrator background, until I finally saw the light and joined BI, and then finally saw the light even more and joined Tableau. So after I've done all of the coding and I've been through all of that coding pain, actually my sort of preference now is to really talk to people about how we can actually utilize what I've learned and share with you how to get started on these sort of projects. So not necessarily the nuts and bolts of the actual code itself, but actually thinking about Tableau and embedding Tableau in a more holistic manner, and the sort of skills and the sort of project management around this, and making sure we appreciate everything that goes on, not just the actual nuts and bolts of the code. I'm going to pass back over to Timo for the rest of this presentation, but I can't wait to be out in Tableau conference and look forward to meeting and chatting with you all over there.
Thanks, Tim. So as this session today is around providing you with the ability to find the sessions which fit best to you, we thought we would share our session flow, which we will cover. So we will start with demoing what embedding really means. Before we are going to briefly talk around why you should embed analytics into your applications. And you've seen one fun example at the very beginning. Before we will spend most of the time around how to actually do that. And no matter how you do that, you need to decide whether you're buying a solution or you're creating your own one. And we will help you to guide you through that by asking some questions which you can take back home to actually make your own decisions. Before we will end up with some customer examples and a demo asset, which you will be able to download at the very end so that you can actually quick start your embedding journey and see some really cool examples around Tableau dashboards, write back examples, and also some basic embedding examples which you can take back to your company. By the end of the session, you will understand what embedding means. You will learn what you need to ask yourself before you actually start to work with Tableau or embed Tableau. And you will get the demo side I've been talking about so that you can quick start your embedding journey with Tableau. I will end with when you should attend our session and when you should not attend our session. So let's start with when you should not attend our session. If you're interested in seeing code snippets, you have already seen other sessions which are probably a better fit for you. If you already attended one of the Turn Data into Products webinars in EMEA, then you also probably don't want to attend because it covers large amounts of the content we will present in Berlin. And if you already have an embedded Tableau product, then you're also already too advanced to join that particular talk track. Now, let's close with when you should attend our session. If you're new to embedding, you will see how to actually start with it, not hands-on, but in live demos and also with examples you can take back home, which you can download afterwards. If you're interested in, the difference of making versus buy, what are these questions you need to ask yourself? It's also another perfect fit for our session. And last but not least, if you're interested in technical topics, which you need to consider prior to embedding Tableau, another perfect example why you should listen to us and hopefully afterwards talking to us. Thank you so much for your patience, and back to you, Gigi.
Thank you, Timo and Tim. So last session, Tableau extension, the what, why, and how of extension for Tableau. I will give it over to Merlin. Merlin, I think you are mute.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
All right, great. Hello, everyone. My name is Merlin, and I'm a Tableau Zen Master, and I work for Infotopics. And I'm actually from the Netherlands, so this Tableau conference will be my first conference where I have to travel less than 5 hours, so that's great. And last year, I've co-founded the platform Apps for Tableau. And with this platform, we built all kinds of cool extensions like Show Me More, Picture This, and Super Tables. You've probably seen them in the Tableau extensions gallery. And during this session, I will talk about the what, why, and hows of extensions for Tableau. I will see, do I have control with my mouse? I do not. Oh, there it is. Okay, so just a little disclaimer, if you're going to attend this session will contain a lot of demos, and Tableau will probably crash. So if you want to see that, you should definitely come during this session. So one of the things I'm going to do is talk about the what of the extensions API. I will talk about the security of extensions because we get a lot of questions about security and extensions, so I'll cover that part. I will talk about why you should use extensions. And I will talk about, I think, the most important part for the developers. How can I start with the extensions API? And of course, there will be a lot of gaming in this session because I've already built games like Minecraft and Mario in Tableau with extensions. So there will be more games in this session, of course. And at the end of the session, I will do a very big announcement because I'm working on an extension together with another Zen master. It's a big secret right now, but we will announce it and at this session, and you will be able to work with it during that session. So very exciting stuff. So just a little bit of an example. We often get the question, what is an extension? What is the extensions API? And most people think these are extensions, like these little T-Rex files. That's an actual extension. So if you are one of them, come to the session. I will explain you what an extension is, how it looks like, and also give you examples on extensions which are running in the cloud, or how to install an extension on-premise at your own servers. So lots of demos during my session. And I will also, of course, talk a lot about security, because we often get this question or this quote from people on our support desk or anywhere, like extensions are evil and insecure. And if you want to know what my answer is, you should come to my session, and I will talk about security a lot. And I will also give you lots of tips on the extensions API, how you can use extensions and how you can make sure you're using extensions in a secure way, and what you can do to make extensions as safe as possible in your environment. So I think that's a really important part for extensions. Well, and of course, why should you use extensions? I will talk about extensions and how they will enrich your way of interacting with Tableau, just like the other APIs, like the JavaScript API and REST API. And to give you an example, if you have the extensions API and you are creative, you can create all kinds of cool stuff to change the way Tableau is working. For example, this extension, which I will also announce during this session, it's called Scrollytelling for Tableau, is changing the way on building a story in Tableau, and where you can have visuals and text at the same time. So if you're up to that, you should definitely join this session. And I will do a little bit of the basics of how to start with the extensions API. So it's not a deep technical session. It's going to be a basic. And I will show you things like how do I get started with an extension, some tips from an extension developer like me on how should I start, do you have tips on examples, or should I use a framework, what is a framework actually, things like that, just the basics. And at the end of the session, I will announce my biggest and latest and greatest extension, which I'm building currently together with another Zen master somewhere in the world. I will not tell you yet, and we will announce it during the session. And I'm very excited for that part. So thank you, and I will hope to see you in Berlin.
Thank you, Manon. It looks like a really exciting session with a lot of announcements. I really look forward to it.
All right.
So we are going to take a couple of questions. So, I mean, that's my end of announcement, but we'll talk about that later. So let's take some questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type it on the chat or in the Q&A. It's your time, guys.
Well, I do have one question here in the chat asking about any recordings for the TCE sessions.
Good question. If you're not attending TCE, we are going to send you the recording via our newsletter. So if you're already part of a developer program, you are going to receive it. But if you're not part of a developer program, join the developer program and we'll send you the recording that will be available on YouTube as well.
But what about the sessions recording at TCE?
They are going to record the breakout sessions.
Oh, they are breakout.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wrong.
I'm going to send you the recording, guys.
And Gigi, that's correct for everything except the hands-on sessions, right?
Yeah. No hands-on sessions.
Yeah.
But if you like a session you think is interesting, feel free to email us because to bring it to TC19 as well in Vegas. So if you think one session sounds really cool and you want to see it at TC19, feel free as well to email us.
So I got a question here asking if they can suggest future developer presentations to demo the current extensions. They want a session where they can demo the extensions we already have.
So is that, sorry, maybe they can clarify the question. They're asking us to do a session where we show latest and greatest extensions?
I think so, yeah.
So Kovner, who's the product manager for the Extensions API, did a session last year at TC called Extensions FOMO, Fear of Missing Out, and he showed, you know, I think it was half a dozen or so like hot extensions that people should try out, check out, and you know why they add value. And I think we're considering doing that same session, you know, updated for TC19. If that's not what you're suggesting, please let us know, but that is something that we're planning to do in Vegas.
Okay. Great. I've also got a question here asking about what do you recommend as resolution for embedded analytics? I think we'll have to come and find out.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
But what do they recommend we? Sorry, I don't totally follow the question.
Just says what do you recommend as resolution for embedded? So Sebastian, if you could give us some more details on what you're looking for there, we can answer your question a little more specifically.
We also have a session. When are the sessions going to happen? So if we don't have a schedule yet, but if you go to the TCE website and you select the track called Developer, you can see the sessions, and the schedule is going to be published in the next couple of days. So just pick the track Developer on the website.
Let's see what else we've got here. Someone's asking about what is VisQL API? You don't have a VisQL API, right?
Well, maybe Merlin can answer that one, what he was thinking when he put that on his slide. We don't have an official public VisQL API.
Yeah, maybe Merlin, can you hop in? What were you talking about there?
Sure. I was actually talking about the new metadata API. Metadata API.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. And well, there is a VisQL API, but it's not. Let's not talk about that yet. No, it's not supported.
But just to answer the question there about the metadata API, the metadata API, as Gigi said earlier, is currently in beta. So if you are a member of our developer program, you get a free Tableau online sandbox site for your own development use, and you can use the metadata API in that site. That API is a GraphQL-based API. It's our first GraphQL API. And it essentially allows you to compose very powerful queries across multiple objects within Tableau. So if you want to do impact analysis or lineage analysis and understand all the workbooks that use a particular database or a particular table in a database, or show me everything that uses this sales column from this data source because we want to change it, and you want to understand the impact of that on all of your downstream workbooks or data sources. So it's a very, very powerful API, again, sort of in the, data cataloging is a term out there where you want to understand how all of these assets are being used and come together. And, if you have a concern about official data source usage and data quality warnings, and there's a bunch of kind of things around this. The metadata API is our kind of step in the direction of just providing more of that information so that partners that we work with, like Elation and Calibra and Informatica, that they can more deeply integrate their data catalog products with the Tableau platform, but also so that our developer community and our customers can use that API to answer questions about their Tableau usage.
Let's see. Oh, for the resolution for the embedding, you were talking about actual resolution. They were like 800, 600, 800 by 600. I think for that, again, probably best to go to the class. Who was doing the embedding one again?
And use Alex Vino or Charlotte and Ruben how to embed Tableau in 60 minutes or embedding Tableau a deep dive into the JavaScript API.
Yeah. But any tips from you guys right now on that? You just unmute. Vino?
Oh, Alex. Maybe you want to keep the suspense until the end?
Maybe, okay.
So I think that's it for the question.
I think so. Any other questions we can answer?
Feel free to email us, reach out to us on Twitter if you want to see the session at TC19 as well. But we would all see you in Berlin, hopefully. And if you're in Berlin, join the developer program today and try to find me during the TCE to get your exclusive TCE stickers with Flex. So join the developer program and get your exclusive TCE stickers with Flex. So see you soon in Berlin. Thank you to all the presenters today. It was a great session, and we all look forward to all of the sessions at TCE. See you. Thank you again for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you in Berlin.